Well, hello. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the INTJ and some clues and signs that you're talking to an INTJ, because sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to decipher someone's MBTI type, which is why a lot of people argue about it and fight about it, because you're kind of going by a checklist or a picture that you have in your mind of what they look like, and it's not always accurate. And human beings also have other nuances that get in the way, like their Enneagram type or their family background or cultural background or the way that they were raised. What is their socioeconomic background? There are just so many factors that can really get in the way and derail you from actually typing someone accurately. Some INTJs can act very somewhat extroverted, so that can throw you off a little bit. So because they tend to be project as confident types, even if deep inside they have some insecurities or things going on. If you don't know if someone is an INTJ for sure, I'm going to give you a few things that I've noticed that you can ask them about. So, one of the things that's kind of unusual is INTJs have a very keen sense of smell. And to me, that's unusual because they're not sensors. I would think that would be more of a sensor trait, but it is very, very, very strong. And they may not ever reveal that to you, but they smell everything. And it's something that can also drive them nuts. They don't particularly like that, but it's very, very strong, and it's aggravating and annoying to them. That's something that you can ask them about because it's unusually strong. They're going to pick up on scents can be exaggerated to them, and it's not something they can turn off easily. I think a lot of them also have flavor memory, which is also unusual because I've known some really good cooks that are INTJs, and some of them are probably terrible cooks. So I'm not saying that they all are, but they can make really great bakers and really great cooks and chefs. But you know how you can taste something and you're like, what is that? They can dissect that really well. I know I struggle with that. Sometimes I look at a recipe and I think, oh my gosh, this is going to be so delicious. And an INTJ will say, I could have looked at that and told you that that was going to be like that, those combinations together. No, that's not going to be good. So they can have flavor memory, which means that you remember what specific things taste like, even to the most minute detail. Another thing about many INTJs, and this doesn't go for all of them, so some of them will probably say, well, I'm messy. But even some of the ones that say that their house is a mess, that it's a disaster, when you go to their houses, it usually looks really nice and neat. You're like, okay, where is the disaster? Maybe it's in a closet or somewhere that you don't see. But some of them, many of them, can be extreme when it comes to cleaning. And in their minds, it may not be extreme, but to other people, it can be really extreme. It's like I have to take a toothbrush and scrub around the baseboards every weekend. My family is going to devote hours of cleanup time. And these are not OCD people. So I'm not talking about, because when I say OCD, I'm talking about the for real disorder. A lot of people throw that word out there carelessly, or people think they're OCD and they are absolutely 100% not. I'm not talking about an OCD INTJ, but they can really wear their families out and not know we're cleaning today. And that's going to be a weekly thing where it's every nook and cranny. Like, your standard of cleaning is going to be different from there, super meticulous cleaners. In fact, some of them don't even like gifts because it clutters their house. I don't want any clutter whatsoever in my house. So they can be extreme cleaners. Now, there's one group of INTJs, and this is like I'm picturing this circle in my mind because it's not all of them, and it may be based on what their Enneagram is, but I've seen this group of INTJs that are not, or they appear to not be super hard workers. And they kind of give you more of a laid back kind of feel, like they're sitting back just kind of chilling, like they're not overly working. In fact, if you really look closely, you're like, what are you doing? Like, but they will pride themselves on certain things, like, I found a loophole. I'm going to use that loophole to my advantage. And I'm going to let that loophole solve a whole lot of problems for me in this particular situation or work situation. And I'm going to sit back and chill because I found this loophole. So that group is not working nearly as hard as they could be or even should be. It almost looks like they're standing still looking around, like kind of like, like that's their work, is I'm just looking around. I'm just sitting here. It's like, okay, when are you working? But they can find some loopholes, or they just don't quite get it going. Like they kind of, I don't know if that also taps into that perfectionistic nature where they're just kind of waiting for the right moment, or they're busy putting things together in their heads. Now there's that other group, that big group of INTJs that can be, well, I know 3 INTJs, of course, can, they'll tell you, I have this weird thing like insatiable workaholic, like thousands of projects and I'm making all of them work and I'm completing every single one of them. There are INTJs, even some of the ones that kind of, they might be sitting around kind of like looking like, okay, I'm not doing much when it comes to making a speech or writing a poem, or not necessarily writing a poem, but I'm thinking of like ones that speak, that's maybe they have a speech for church or something like that. They're going to hammer the daylights out of it. It's going to be top of the line. It's going to be top notch. So whatever they do, whatever they're representing, they're going to represent it well. So there is a group, a big group, that you wonder, how are you getting that much done in a day? How do you cover every single nook, every single cranny? But they usually like to work, actually. I don't think that they do very well when they have to be careful when they retire, because they can have an active mind and they need to be, they're intellectuals, and they also can sort of act extroverted in some ways. They're introverted, but they don't drain usually like as easily as other introverts. They can handle people. They can deal with people, and in some ways they kind of need some people around. They can also stop people in their tracks, which is kind of fascinating to see. Like, okay, you're talking all that noise, but as soon as an INTJ speaks, you stop in your tracks. I think you don't have to have an understanding of INTJs. I think they can have some amazing friendships, some very close, fun. Hey, we're laughing, we're having fun, we're acting silly together. They can have some amazing friendships, but outside of that friendship, people, and I hate to say this, sometimes don't like INTJs. And I hate to say that because I love INTJs, and I know in MBTI world, everybody, most people seem to absolutely love them, want to be them, admire them. So it's not in the MBTI world, but when you throw them out into the real world, and I'm really thinking of female examples of that, because females, if you're a thinker, people don't appreciate you, or they get very upset with you, or people also will kind of stop in their tracks for an INTJ female, like, okay, you said to do what? Okay, I'm doing it. But then they also may not want to deal with them because they have very dominant, strong personalities. So here's something else that I think is widely known about INTJs that's a definite clue, is that stare. They have a stare unlike any other. That is a clue that you're dealing with an INTJ. And sometimes that stare can land on you and it can just like infiltrate your soul, like your being. And they may just they go into a trance. I'm going to call it a trance. They absolutely go into a thought trance. So even if their eyes land on you, you feel like they're dissecting you, and they might be, but their thoughts also might be on 100 other things that they are putting together. I don't know if it's their NI or their thinking or the combination, but they go into a thought trance and they will stay there as they work through their thoughts or an idea or you or another person or figuring something out. It's a stare that is crazy. And I know growing up with an INTJ mom, you know how like if you're trying to look at something far away, you might squint your eyes. So one of my mom's eyes would squint and sort of twitch but it's that stare. It's like I'm stuck. Like eyes are not moving anywhere else. It's on that one location. And that one eye is kind of winking up, back and forth. It's like you can almost see their thoughts, trying to put together their thoughts, and their eye is giving them away that they are in that transit place. And I can imagine it's a lovely place to be, or they have to stay there to complete whatever that thought is. And that's really fascinating. Something else my mom used to do, an INTJ, growing up as a kid, she would always say, something told me to do this, or something told me to do that. And when I was like 8 or 9, I would think, what is telling you that? Who is telling you that? And why is whoever's telling you that is always correct? Because it would be a kind of, I should have done this and I didn't. Or I should have followed through with that and I didn't. And now I know that that's intuition, that their intuition is giving them clues and hints and telling them steps that they should take. And they know themselves. So they know that, hey, you know what? That's not something that I should look over or skip over. I really need to follow that train of thought because it's going to be correct and it's going to work out to my advantage. So I don't know, maybe I like INTJs. I feel like they're kind of a comfort place for me. I usually know I'm talking to one of them because there's generally a place of comfort for me. I think we tend to understand each other, and I don't know if other ENFJs click with INTJs, but I do, and I find them quite comforting. So if there's something I've missed, like something that's a clue, put it below. Because I was asking one of my siblings, hey, do you notice anything about INTJs? And they were like, nope, can't think of anything. So if you know something that's a giveaway that you're talking to an INTJ, put it in the comment section below. By the way, if you would like an INTJ friendship pin that I've made, you can check it out at the link below. Or if you want any other MBTI pins, check it out below. And be sure to like this video and subscribe and share this video with INTJs that you know or people that you want to understand you better. So have a great day, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.